Hey everyone, we are here with one of my good friends, Juliano, from the OpenTelemetry community. Today we're going to talk a bit about the OpenTelemetry demo, how they're using Tracetest, and some really new cool things that we're expecting from the demo in the future. So with that, question number one. It's going to be a quick five-pace, five question. You good with that? And let's start with, can you share some details about your career up to today, and what's your role in the OpenTelemetry demo?
Cool. First of all, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's a pleasure to actually finally meet you in person. So till December last year, I was a software engineer, and in the company that I was working, I was kind of creating a demo internally to showcase OpenTelemetry with their own solution. And as I started working on OpenTelemetry, I said, hey, you know what? I need to study a little bit more. I need to learn a little bit more about OpenTelemetry in order to do a better job. So every night after my wife went to bed, I sat on my laptop and I started kind of coding. And I got the project from Google, the online boutique that they have, which is kind of a demo as well. And I cleaned up everything that was Google related. I think they had Open Census on it. And I added OpenTelemetry, add a collector, add Jaeger there, and kind of instrumented all the services. By the time I think it was 5 different languages. And I was super happy with it. A couple of months later, the OpenTelemetry community got together and said, hey, what about creating an official OpenTelemetry demo to showcase all the languages and everything? And then we started evaluating all the forks that we had from this microservices from Google. And mine was kind of the one that was cleaner because there was no anything vendor related in the fork. So they decided to use my fork as the base for the OpenTelemetry demo. So that's how I got involved. I got involved since day -1 because, and I've been working the demo since then. Yeah, today I'm a developer advocate at Datadog, which helps me doing this. So kind of being involved in the community, helping the demo, and sharing about OpenTelemetry, which is what I like.
Awesome answer, really in depth. And this will segue perfectly into question number 2, which is, can you give us a quick rundown of what OpenTelemetry is, why you think it's important, but also what the exact use case of the OpenTelemetry demo is, and why you think that's something that's very useful for the community?
Cool. So I'll break down this answer in 2. First of all, the OpenTelemetry demo, the OpenTelemetry itself, I see as a I don't see it, but it is a standard that changes kind of the approach that observability has been done for the last couple of years. We always had vendors, and the vendors had their own solution. And if you want to switch from vendor A to vendor B, you would have to re-instrument your application or redeploy the vendor's approach, like how the vendor monitor your application to kind of switch. But not just that. So imagine that you have a big company, and one part of the company uses one vendor, and another part of the company uses another vendor. And like you have different ways of instrumenting the application within the same company. With OpenTelemetry, you can use OpenTelemetry even if you are using different vendors. So if someone needs to change from team A to team B, they will continue to use OpenTelemetry. So this standardization in the space of observability is awesome. And the second part of the question is why the OpenTelemetry demo is important. So for me, so we have 3 goals in the OpenTelemetry demo. One is to vendors to showcase their support on OpenTelemetry. The second is to help people to be onboarded on OpenTelemetry so they can see in real use or in a close to real application how OpenTelemetry works and the benefits of it. And the third is to help maintainers within the release. So whenever there is a new release on a specific instrumentation or a specific language, they can come to the demo, update it and see if everything is working as expected, if there are no breaking changes and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really happy to see those 3 goals being actually achieved, because we get people being onboarded in there. We have a bunch of vendors in our main README. So if you are using any vendor and you want to see how the vendor supports OpenTelemetry data, you can actually go to the OpenTelemetry Demo GitHub and see their fork, because they kind of show how to send the OpenTelemetry Demo data to their backend. And yeah,
Dude, that's more than enough. I'm milking you for a super long answer, but this is, I think, a nice way to move into a question that I think is important, and that's the specific issues that you were trying to solve with the OpenTelemetry demo is precisely what we're just talking about.
Yeah.
That's that you wanted to have multiple vendors being not, I'm going to say, you don't want people to context switch between them. You want to have one standard, one open standard, one demo, one example of how you can use one library or one set of libraries to get the job done without having too much complexity. And I think it's,
just adding to that, also it's nice to see I would recommend using the demo to kind of POC vendors. So because you can go to the OpenTelemetry collector that we have on the demo and kind of configure multiple vendors to send the data to. So before you hire someone or you make a deal with a vendor, you go to the demo, you send the data to Datadog, to Honeycomb, to Lightset, whatever, all the vendors that you want, and then you compare what you get out of it. What's the value, what's the benefit, how they are treating the OpenTelemetry data, and then you can make the choice with some like actual data.
Yeah, that's a wonderful use case as well, where you get quite literally a demo of all the tools you have at your disposal, and then you have a nice and easy experience of choosing what you want to use. That's really, really important as well. And so we've been mainly now talking about tracing and distributed tracing vendors and observability vendors in general. But I would like to know your biggest challenge when you ran tests against the OpenTelemetry demo, specifically when you were doing PR merges and you were basically just validating the functionality of the demo itself. So this is probably where Tracetest managed to help you out.
Definitely. Actually, Tracetest also joined the OpenTelemetry demo pretty soon. We got the front end was redesigned by Oscar Reyes. Yes, it was a great contribution. So they were involved in the project since day one, and I was kind of saying, hey guys, or hey folks, why aren't we using this test to test changes? Because so whenever we got a PR, what I had to do as a maintainer, I had to kind of pull the PR, build the image with the changes of the contributor, and then run to see if everything was working. And not all the maintainers, not all the approvers were doing that. So sometimes you see a change, you just look at the code and say, yeah, this is fine. It looks good to me. Approve. This gets merged, and then you go to the demo and you run, and the trace is broken. And I was like, hey, you know what? Why aren't we using the trace test on the PRs? Like whenever we get a PR, run the trace test and see if it breaks or not. And then after a couple of months pushing the maintainers, we finally got it. So now whenever you send a PR to the demo, as soon as there is one approval, we build all the images, we run the demo, and we run the trace test. So that ensures that the traces are not broken, everything is connected as expected. And if there are, so we got a bunch of changes on semantic conventions, and some tags, some attributes changed, which broke the trace test. And then we, not the trace test, but the test itself. So we had to fix it, but we fix as we go, and not like whenever a user opens a bug and say, hey, this is not working.
Yeah, I really like that point of view where you're using the trace to fix it before it even broke. And which is just you have all of that data at your disposal. It's just awesome that you get to use it in your development process first, and then in your testing process during your CI, during your whatever merges you want to run. It's really, really nice. And yeah, let's wrap up. We're 10 minutes in. The last question is definitely, what is your future plan for the OpenTelemetry demo? As the hotshot maintainer you are.
So we were just right now at the SIG meeting, discussing the demo, and myself, Miko, and Austin, we were kind of trying to deploy. We got some credits from Oracle Cloud, so we are now deploying the demo. So we want to have the demo up and running all the time, so people can actually navigate to the demo and see. The value is a bit different in that case because they will be able to access the front end, navigate. They will be able to access Jaeger and Grafana to see the metrics, logs, and Jaeger to see the traces. But of course, if you want to see the vendor and how that behaves on the vendor side, then you have to deploy. But at least you have somewhere to check what is the data that the demo is producing before even bothering deploying for yourself. So this is something that we aim for. One thing that we dropped recently was the Elixir service that we had. So hopefully soon we get that back as one of other services. My plan is actually to have as soon as possible. And honestly speaking, I want more services, but this is not something that is up to me. We need to maintain it, so it's not as easy as just, hey, let's put all the services that we can in there. So yeah, the more languages we have, the more happy I am actually. But it's I think we need to choose a scope and focus on that. Otherwise, we're gonna get crazy.
Great answers. Great interview. Again, super happy to have you with me at KubeCon here at this interview. And yeah, really looking forward to see how the OpenTelemetry project moves forward, and all of the new things we're going to see with the demo, especially hosting it somewhere and letting people actually see the end product. Primarily because it takes half an hour to build the images, so it might also be good to actually see it first and then actually put in the half hour to build the images. Might also be good to ask for build credits, just build machines so we can pull the finished images from somewhere. And yeah, again, huge shout out for Juliano for being here. Also, my buddies from our team, Oscar and Daniel, who have been epic at maintaining and helping maintain the OpenTelemetry demo and writing blog posts to explain how it works. Super big shout out. And yeah, with that, until next time, bye.